don't like my hair. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video, if you can't tell by the title, I'm going to be doing a top 10 favourite palettes video. I'm pretty sure tons of people have done this before, but I was like, you know what, I want to do it, so we're going to do it today. I'm thinking about doing like a top 10 like series, so like top 10 favourite highlighters, bronzers, lippies, that kind of thing. So if you're interested in seeing that, then just let me know as well. So yeah, let's stop rambling and let's go ahead and get straight on into it. I just want to let you guys know that like one of these was sent to me in PR, but the rest I have purchased with my own money. So yeah, this is also in no particular order, just letting you guys know. So yeah, the first one I have is the Dose of Colours Desi X KT Friendcation palette. Oh, the packaging is so pretty. I actually love this palette. It is kind of well loved and used. I really love this shade here. I think that shade is like gorgeous. The browns in here are stunning. I do love like this blue shade here as well. I just feel like this is a great palette, especially for like traveling. Like you could I would pretty much use the browns and then pretty much use this shade all over the lid, and it's just a great everyday kind of palette. Let me swatch a couple of shades. This shade is gorgeous. Oh my god, look at that. Like the shimmers in here are insane. Oh, stunning. And I love it because you can wear these shades with the neutral browns that they've got in here, and it's just such a good palette. It is gorgeous. Is it worth £50? I think it's like £50 or like £49. I'm not too sure. I got this for my birthday, so if you are wanting it but didn't want to spend that much, I do recommend it. If you were wanting to get it but you didn't want to spend £49 or like £50, then just put it on your birthday or Christmas list, because I do highly recommend it. Okay, so the next palette we have a more affordable palette. This is from Makeup Obsession. If you know me or if you've watched my videos before, you know that I actually love Makeup Obsession. I feel like they have some of the best drugstore eyeshadow formula out there. The Rady Daydream palette. So if you don't know who Rady is, she's an influencer. She collaborated with Makeup Obsession on 2 eyeshadow palettes, and this one is my actual favourite. I just think it's gorgeous. If you've seen the inside, then you'll know what it looks like. It's very colourful, very bright. She does have a more neutral one, but I literally just live for this one. I do love the neutral one as well, but I live for colour. I've always usually got something colourful on my eyes, and this palette is just, look at it. She is gorgeous, like literally stunning. Shades in this palette, I think it's gorgeous. As you can see, mine's broke. But yeah, I do have a backup, but I just feel like the shades in here are stunning. Let me swatch a couple for you. And for £10, like, when I tell you, the formula is so good. Like, this blue is literally phenomenal. Like, it feels almost wet, but it's stunning. Look at that silver. Like, seriously, these shadows are like high-end formula. It's crazy. So I highly recommend you picking up any Makeup Obsession palette, but this one is just one of my faves, like literally one of my favorites. That's why it's in my top 10. Okay, so the next palette is a more new palette to me, but honestly, if I'm thinking if I have to keep 10 palettes, this will definitely be in there, because it is just one that I feel like I need in my collection. I feel like there's not enough palettes like this, and it is the Beauty Bay Pastels palette. This palette is new. I don't know if it's going to be on the website still, but it's £10, and if it is, and if you're wanting a pastel palette, get it, because it's amazing. Purchasing this palette, I have used it quite a few times, and I've used every single shadow in here, and it is gorgeous. I have been wanting like a plain matte pastel palette for ages, and not many brands have kind of bring out pastel palettes until Beauty Bay did, and honestly I'm so happy. I've got hair in my face. Yeah, I'm so happy that they actually did bring out a pastel palette, because it is stunning, and I feel like you can incorporate it with other palettes. I feel like if you're using a palette and it's got a lot of dark mattes in it and you need something that's kind of colourful to like lighten it up, you can use this. And just look at it. It's a full matte pastel palette, but I just feel like if you love pastel shades and if you love colourful shades, you need it. And for £10, like, look how tiny it is. It's so good. So good. 100% recommend. That's why it's in my top 10. This palette is, I got this late last year, and honestly, every single time that I've used it quite a bit, which, like, for me personally, usually I get a palette and I'll use it a couple of times and I'll kind of like forget about it. But this palette like has stayed in my favourites drawer for so long because I literally do use it quite often. And it is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. When this palette came out, I was like, because the shades in here just speak to me. It speaks to me on another level. Like, the packaging is gorgeous. I prefer this packaging to her other packaging. I know her palettes are very, very pricey. I think this is like £56 or something. I'm not too sure. I'll leave it on the screen. But the shades in here, oh my goodness. Like, I love how like there's some neutrally shades, some like warmer tone pinky shades. I love there's purples in here. I love that these random like greeny blue shades. The whole palette just is gorgeous, and I feel like you can create so many looks with it, and I haven't even like scratched the surface. And I've done quite a few looks with this palette, but like I literally love it so much. I'm gonna swatch a couple of shades for you because they're literally just, I don't know what she did with this palette, but she killed it. And I feel like if you are looking for a Huda Beauty palette, you should go for this one, because this one is definitely one of the best that she's come out with. I have all of her like larger palettes and I do like them, but this one is my personal favourite. I just feel like there's something different about this palette. Like, it's different to all of her other ones. Like, her Desert Dusk is quite neutral, like warmy kind of shades. Her nude palette is just, of course, very nude. Her Rose Gold palette is still like warm kind of shades, but this has like warms, but it also has like pinky shades, like purpley shades, like these crazy colours. I feel like that this shade feels like it's got glitter in it, and it's just phenomenal. And I literally love it, and I need to use this shade. I haven't used this shade yet, but I need to use it all over my lid, like by itself, because it looks gorgeous. And yeah, I will never get rid of this. If you're wanting a Huda Beauty palette, like a large one, go for this one. Moving on to, I think, my fifth palette. Yeah, moving on to my fifth palette, I have a more neutral palette. I do like my neutrals, but I'm literally a colourful girl at heart. I love live, breathe, colourful looks. I know I've got like a more like neutrally kind of look today almost, apart from the purple, but sometimes I do like to go just full on neutral. Just, you know, I think everyone still needs a neutral palette in their collection, and for me, mine is the ABH Soft Glam palette. I have used this quite a few times. It's quite dirty, if you can kind of see, but honestly, this whole like warm tones, just, it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I do like how there's a couple of cooler tones in here, like with Dusty Rose and the like, ooh, and this like rose gold, so like rosy pink shade. It's so nice. I just live for it. I have talked about in my palette ranking video like my favourite shades to use. I really love Burnt Orange, I love Sienna, I do love Mulberry, I love Bronze all over the lid, I also love Fairy on the lid as well. It's just such a gorgeous palette for every single day. I'm like, these kind of neutrals are my kind of neutrals. They blend easily. It's just such a good everyday kind of palette, and I'm obsessed. If you do want like an ABH palette and you're more into your neutrals, definitely go for this one, or maybe like Modern Renaissance, depends what kind of like neutral vibe you're going for. But honestly, like I said, if I had to pick just 10 palettes, this is going to be one of them. Okay, moving on to my next palette is another kind of neutrally palette, but I do love this palette, and I feel like it's got all the kind of neutrals that I actually need within a neutral palette, if that makes sense. And this is the Be Perfect Clientele palette, and this is in collaboration with Makeup by Jar. I love this palette. I think this is like £35 or something. Highly recommend it. If you are a working makeup artist, this is what you need. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you. And these are the shades. Oh my gosh. Can we talk about these shades? Like, there's so many neutrals in here, but then you also have like these pops of colour which make it so special. Like, for instance, this shade here called Minx. It is like a cool tone purple, but it's stunning. You've got obviously all these warm tone browns. You've got these greeny shades, which are it's quite different for like a neutral palette, but I do like it in here. I haven't used them yet. You've got these like warm cranberry kind of shades. You've got these cool toned shades here, like smoky kind of shades. I literally just live. I live for this palette. I just live for it, and it is one of my favourite neutral palettes to actually go for because I just love the shades in here. They blend out like a dream. I look at it and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. If I was to go like travelling or something and I just wanted like a quick, easy palette that's like not too big, but you know, still got a few shadows in there so I can create a couple of different looks, I 100% would take this one. I have taken this travelling before and I just love it. I love it. It's gorgeous. I can create like a pinky look, can create warm toned, it's got a lot of things in here and it's just gorgeous, and I'm literally just obsessed, and that is one of the main reasons why I would keep it in my collection if I only could keep 10 palettes. But yeah, this is my top 10. Next palette. I don't think this is available anymore, and honestly that makes me so sad because this palette is phenomenal, and if you have it then you know it's phenomenal, and if you don't then please try and get your hands on it because I promise you it is worth it. If someone's selling it, grab it because it's just amazing. And it is, sorry, I got something. And it is the Beauty Bay X Mitchell, Me, Myself and Mitchell palette. That was difficult to say. Now I don't like the packaging. I have just taken out the mirror that's inside. So there is like a removable mirror that's got it on both sides, which is quite handy, but at the same time it's not my favourite thing. I don't like the packaging. The packaging's quite bulky, and obviously you have to have the mirror in there, otherwise it just sits like this, if that makes sense. So yeah, but other than that, this is the palette. I don't even know if I can fit it. There we go. I can fit it in the whole screen. Lovely. Ah, can we talk about this? Can we actually talk about this? I live for it. The only thing that I'm not like a massive fan of is the shimmers, but I can kind of work with them, if that makes sense. And usually when I come to this palette, if I do want a shimmer, I'll kind of reach for a different shimmer, or I'll reach for a pigment or something like that. But I literally love this palette mainly for the mattes. The mattes are incredible. The shimmers are gorgeous, like this shade here, Melted, is phenomenal. I know I haven't been swatching a few of the palettes. I'm sorry. I'll swatch a couple of these shades. Can we? The shades in here are gorgeous. They just blend like an absolute dream. Like, I do love this purple shade. That is stunning. Such gorgeousness. Oh, there is a lot of shades in here as well. Like, you've got tons. You've got warm tones, yellows, oranges, reds, pinks, purples, greens, blues, like a tealy kind of shade. You've got like cool tone browns. You've got so many things in here to kind of work with. Can I send it up like this? It's such a big palette, man. It's not big, it's just bulky, and yeah. But yeah, I do love this palette and I think it is gorgeous, and I'm sad that they've actually decided to discontinue it because it is such a great palette and I will not be getting rid of it. Staple in my collection and I love it and I've used it so many times. Works like a dream. I'm obsessed. The next palette is the Be Perfect X Stacey Marie Carnival XL Pro palette. She has like her first Carnival palette, which is really nice, but this is like a bigger version, and it does have a couple of the same shades from the first Carnival palette, but oh my god, I have to like lean back to fit it all in because it's huge. But this is the palette, this is what she looks like, and oh my god, I am obsessed. I love this palette. I do come to this palette quite often, and if I had to keep if I had to keep just 10 palettes, I would definitely keep this one in my collection because it has got a lot of shades in here. It again has yellows, oranges, pinks, purples, green, blues, neutrals. It even has highlighters in here, which I think is really, really good. I could only get away with one, but I could get away with these two as eyeshadows, so I do like how that's kind of been incorporated in here, so you can kind of use these as eyeshadows as well as highlighters. Do like that. The shades are phenomenal. They blend like a dream. They are gorgeous. I need to use this palette more actually because I kind of forget that I have it. I don't know why, but when I am looking for like a bright pink or a bright green, I do come to this palette and I know it works and I can create some really gorgeous colour combinations with this. So yeah, 100% I do recommend this. My hand's hurting now, so I'm going to put this down. But yeah, I do love this palette. She's also coming out with a new one, which I really want. Sorry, Scott. The next one is definitely one of my favourite palettes in my collection. I have like a soft spot for this palette. Scott did actually buy me this one. So yeah, thanks Scott, thanks. When I saw this palette when it first released last year, I really wanted it. Like I really wanted it. I felt like the shades in here, it's such a unique kind of colour story and it really grabs me and it makes me happy, and I'm wearing it today on my eyes. So yeah, it is the ABH Norvina Volume 3 palette. Even the packaging is gorgeous, but the inside, these like Norvina volume palettes are so unique in their colour story. Like I don't know what it is. I think it's like the greens and the oranges and the warm tones just really drags me into this palette and I love it. I literally am obsessed. They are very pricey. This is definitely one of the priciest ones that I have picked out, but I would 100% keep this palette if I had to, because like if I could only keep 10 again, this would definitely be one of them, because I just look at this and I get inspired by creating looks because the shades and everything are gorgeous. Like even my look today, it's quite, my brow's sticking out. Even my look today, even though it's quite like neutral shades, like through the crease, the lid shade, I could probably have chosen like so many different shimmer shades for the lid, and I love it. I love it. I'm obsessed. I love how many colours there are in here. I love how you can still create a neutral look with this, but you could also give it like a neutral twist, so it's very wearable but also very colourful, and I love it. I'm obsessed, and I would not get rid of it ever because it's definitely my favourite Norvina palette ever, so I'm obsessed. Okay, moving on to my 10th and final palette. I know this palette isn't going to be for everyone, and I know it's not going to be everyone's favourite because I've seen so many people say that they don't really like this palette, but I have never ever had a problem with it, and it is the James Charles X Morphe palette. Again, quite a big palette, quite chunky. It's quite chunky, but there's so many shades in here and I do love that. Look how big this is. There is a mini version, but obviously I got this version first, so I was like, obviously I'm not going to get the mini version because I don't need it. Every single time that I use the neutral shades in here, I just live. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it like complements like my skin tone or like my eye colour. I'm not too sure. But I love these like neutrally shades in the middle. I love this shade all over the lid. I actually use this palette quite often. I do use the colours quite often as well. What I would have liked is if there was like more colours up top and he made it like this bit neutral, that row neutral, and then just like colour, colour, colour. Instead of it just being colours on the bottom. But still, you've got like your orange and red up here. You've got some like cooler tones, so you can go more smoky. You've got purples, pinks, blues, yellows, greens. As you can tell, I kind of love palettes that have like every colour in it. Like, I just love it. I like everything to be in one place when I pick up out a palette, if that makes sense. So yeah, I do love this and I do use it quite often. Like, quite often. And it is such a good palette. I know a lot of people don't really like the palette because they find it quite difficult to use some of the shades, but personally I've never had an issue with any of the shades, never had a problem using it, so that's just my thoughts and opinions, and I am obsessed with it. I think he did kill this palette when he brought it out, and it is such a good palette. Sometimes it does go on offer on Morphe as well, so if you are interested in picking it up, just keep your eye out on Morphe because they usually do have deals on, so you can get like 20% off the palette that's like meant to be like £39, or you can get the mini one. Apparently the mini one is a different kind of formula. Obviously I haven't tried it. I haven't tried the big formula, and I do really enjoy it. That's why it is in my top 10. So guys, that is it for this video. If you did really like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you want to see more top 10 videos from me, I can do it. I am planning to do a highlighter one, like a bronzer one, lippies, that kind of thing. So if you do want to see that, please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as it would really help me out. So as always, I will leave my social media handle above and also in the description box down below. I'll also be leaving what is on my face in the description box down below as well if you want to check that out, see it's there. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!